Hey everyone, this is your Hairapy session with Emily. I'm your host, Emily Mazur, aka Portland Hairstylist. So guys, update with my salon search. So far I've checked out 6 spaces. And you know what's interesting that I learned is you can negotiate the base rent, which is your dollar amount per square footage, but you cannot negotiate the triple net. Now your base rent is what you see in leasing, looking at buildings and spaces available. It'll say $28 a square foot, $30 a square foot. I realized that by talking to a broker of a place I was looking up on Hawthorne is you can actually negotiate that lower. But what you cannot negotiate is the triple net. Now, the triple net lease is a lease agreement on a property where the tenant or leasee agrees to pay all real estate taxes, building insurance, and maintenance, the 3 nets, on the property in addition to any normal fees that are expected under that agreement, such as your base rent, utilities, etc. I never knew about triple net. I was talking to Andrea from Gilded Fox a long time ago. We met up and she told me about her space and she's like, when you are starting to look at spaces, you have to understand that, yeah, you'll see this lease for so much money a month, but that does not count the triple net, which sometimes you'll see the square footage of the amount of the space, $28 a square foot, and it'll have a plus sign, N. So just for people that are looking for spaces, look out for that triple net. Now, of course, most spaces for lease in Portland are within a larger building, having 2 to 3, sometimes far more spaces for lease, which means as a leasee, you will not be carrying the entire amount of the triple net, but only a portion. And before committing to a space or to a lease, you can get that broken down from the broker of that lease place that's available. But so far, I've seen a lot of different things. I'm still looking at spaces, but I really haven't had anything that grabbed me yet. It's been an interesting process. When I first thought about going out on my own, the whole idea was daunting. I had no idea where to begin. But now I definitely feel more confident and I'm still doing research. So where am I at in the process? Well, you guys, honestly, I'm cool with just getting my clients back in my chair. Currently, I'm switching over to square booking from Vagaro. And not to toot my own horn, but I am slammed. I am very, very slammed. I'm trying to get all my clients in. So usually a lot of them have actually been pretty nice. And I do work pretty late on the days that I work, but I'm hoping to get everybody in. And I'm still contacting people to see if they're available or if they want to come and see me. So I'm switching to square booking. Really a lot more versatile for my clients. It's easier for me because I can send out my own emails rather than having to go through April, which Vagaro, she kind of takes control over that. But so far, yeah, I'm just chilling in my room, in my little studio at 77 Salon, doing my client's hair. So that's where I'm at. And actually, we have 4 new stylists, which I'm really excited about. I'm really excited to work with them. One of my good friends is Eva Morelli. This is our 4th salon that we'll be working at, and she is chill as a cucumber. I absolutely love her. I don't think we've ever had one argument. She's that chill. She also has her friend Nick, who I know, and he's very sweet and he's a very kind person. And then we also have 2 new people that have come from a different salon, Deidre and Jess. And both of those, I feel like they kind of work late at night because I'm always seeing them at work, and we're always pitching in, asking if we need help with closing. So I'm really looking forward to working with those girls. Everybody's very sweet and we have a great team. So going back to talking about looking at these spaces and figuring out what I want to do, what my next step is, I'm actually tossing the idea of partnership. Why? Well, you guys, I have a full book, not only with my clients, but I'm a mother of twin boys who are now 21 months. I'm a wife to a CPA who's been working like crazy. And I've also been focusing on this podcast, trying to reach out to others who I look up to and respect. That's pretty much what's going on in my life. But then also, I've kind of realized, and this is just how I am, is that I don't know all the answers. I like bouncing off ideas with another person and also somebody that's very passionate in the field. And I feel that I could find somebody to maybe we could balance each other out. Like maybe what I'm not so good at, she's probably or he's probably very skilled at, vice versa. So I'm not opposed to it. That's where I'm at. And I do feel that if I do want to take on that route of partnership, which I know would be a lot of work, first of all, having to be very honest, vulnerable. But I do know that if I found the right person, I know that our salon could grow exponentially and that we could have a really great team. So, what does it take to create a strong partnership? Well, I feel that Josette Arvidson and Ambrosia Carey, owners of Auric Salon, have that answer. They are both very strong, motivated, and passionate women, not only in their craft, but they love to educate their team as well as others in the field. Here's an interview with Josette and Ambrosia, owners of Auric Salon. Interview on June 28th, 2020. All right, everybody, we have the owners of Auric Salon. We have Josette Arvidson and Ambrosia Carey. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so you guys, for the podcast now, I mentioned that my goal is to open up my own salon. And so by doing that, I'm interviewing various salon owners within the Portland community. What I like about Josette and Ambrosia is the fact is, like me seeing you guys on Instagram, it seems like you guys have a really strong team and you guys are partners, which, you know, I've heard before, like they're like partnerships just don't work out. But then I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's some successful ones. And I feel like you guys are proof of that.
For sure. Thank you. That's a compliment and I appreciate it. And I think it really depends on where your strengths are and where the other's strengths are and being able to take a step back and let the other take a step forward and vice versa. And I feel like Josette and I, we orchestrate that really well.
Okay. And then now, before we dive into your guys' partnership, how long have you guys been in the hair industry and are you from here? So I'll have Josette answer first.
I've been in the hair industry for 30 years and I am from Portland. And Ambrosia and I have been together as partners since 2016, the early part of the year.
And you guys have met, and where are you from, Ambrosia? Are you from here?
I'm originally from Phoenix, Arizona, but I've been in Portland, Oregon since I was a little girl, and I've been in the industry for 20 years.
So pretty much you're a native. Like I'm just gonna say, yeah, you're almost a native, which I am too. And it's really funny being on the show or interviewing people. I realized that there are more Portland natives than I thought. So, but it's cool. Now you guys both worked at Magnum Opus, so that's how you guys first met, right?
We didn't meet at Magnum Opus originally.
Oh, okay.
But we are both, we were both, our forming careers just in the beginning was started at Magnum Opus, yes.
And so Ambrosia, you started to work at Magnum Opus right after beauty school, is that right?
Yes, correct.
And you went because it was a relative, wasn't it?
Yeah, my sister-in-law, she worked for Magnum Opus for a while, and then she transferred actually to another salon, and she did my hair in that salon, and that salon happened to be
Josette.
Oh my God! So there's the tie-in. There it is. So Josette, where did you go to beauty school, and then did you work at Magnum Opus right after that?
I did. I went to Beaumont in downtown Portland, and my goal was the day that I started beauty school that I would do an apprenticeship. I thought I might be in LA or New York at some point, but stayed in Portland and wanted to be in the best salon there was. And I interviewed at several different salons and I really liked Magnum Opus and I just kept going in until they hired me and worked there for 5 years and got some really good examples of how to run a successful salon. and just had a child and just wanted more flexibility, even though ironically I opened a salon, it still was a good place to get that footing. And
Okay. Now, Hickox was around during that time, and the reason why I know about Hickox, which I think I'm not sure if you're friends with them, but I worked with Fati and Danielle at their
mhm,
salon, Fata
yep,
Salon. So,
yeah, they're amazing.
what was the difference between Hickox and what attracted you to go to Magnum Opus?
I mean, back then, I think when I went to Hickox, I did drop my resume off there. It just didn't have. It had at that time kind of a colder, for lack of a better word, like a snobbier feel, where Magnum Opus felt fun and felt like people were complimenting each other's work, and it just felt more of like me, and
Okay.
also the boss, that hired me at that time, which was same person who hired Ambrosia, was very direct, and like I like that, and
Mhm.
it just had a better fit. But I did love the look of Hickox and knew that they had a really good training program, but it just didn't have the right feel for me.
And that was when it was in the Charles F. Berg building, is that right? Right by Nordstrom's?
Yes, that was
Okay.
before their big remodel.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And then Ambrosia, well, obviously it was your sister-in-law with Magnum Opus, but what about you and your journey? Like when you went to beauty school, did you automatically think I need to do an apprenticeship program right after this?
Definitely. I mean, education was really important for me, but I knew that if I was going to be in the right hands and I wanted to fast forward my career, I would need to do it with the guidance of someone who was expert level and was, handled the industry more in a professional manner, helped me with building up the business side of things and had more structure. So I knew
Okay.
I needed that, and I was seeking that. So Magnum Opus was at the top of the list for me when I was looking for an apprenticeship at that time. And especially even now, there's not a lot of apprenticeship programs in
Mm-mm.
Portland, unfortunately. And I really do believe, I mean, even some of the strongest salon owners that I know today, every one of them went through an apprenticeship.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I'm very thankful for. And I was talking about that with a friend of mine is honestly the only apprenticeship programs that I know for sure are you guys and then also Orange Studio, which is the Southwest Waterfront. And honestly, I don't know really any professional apprenticeship programs. So that was the other thing that attracted me to your guys' business. Um, and then now, Josette, going back, you were at Magnum Opus, and then immediately you opened your salon.
Correct. I was there for 5 years and started kind of looking at alternate options for leaving. And originally, I was just going to lease the chair or be an independent contractor. And it fell into my lap that a salon came for sale. And I wanted to have a salon actually when I graduated from beauty school, but one of the advisors at the school suggested that I get a job at a really good salon and just get some experience. And that
Mhm.
was really sage advice. So it changed from going to being an independent contractor to being a salon owner. And right out of the gate, coming from Magnum Opus with all the education, we knew that would be important. And so we went to business classes and tried to learn things by the School of Hard Knocks, because I don't have a degree in business.
Mhm.
And, when you're on the other side of it, there's so much more than when you're just an employee. So it's been, yeah. So just deciding to go into business for myself was the move right after leaving Magnum Opus.
How long have you been a salon owner?
It'll be 24 years in September of
That's
this
really
year.
cool. And how long were you at? So your original salon was called O Salon, and
Right.
then you had that for so many years, and then decided. Now, were you deciding like, hey, I'm really looking for a partnership now, or what was the turning point?
Well, we had moved into the space we're in now, and there was a stylist who was, a fantastic stylist. She left and opened her own salon. And of course, there were a few people that went with her, and that's normal in our industry.
Mhm.
And it was that feeling of like the space kind of had, for lack of a better words, an entire like corner was taken out of it. So the energy that it takes to fill that back up especially after getting through like 2009 and 10 and that
Yeah.
period. We just didn't know if it was something that we really wanted to do. And then at the same time, the struggle was, I love being a salon owner. I love being a good boss to people and being supportive and having a good, safe place for people to work. And we're obsessed with education, and I love having that team. And so a friend of mine that does work at Magnum Opus still, that's a good friend, both of Ambrosia and I was telling her about my personal like dilemma, and she said, you really should meet Ambrosia, because she wants to open a salon but may not want to open it all by herself. So I was like, sure, let's try it. And Ambrosia, she's pretty driven. And so the first time that we met, it was kind of like it could work. And then we just casually kind of talked over the next few weeks and just decided to go for it. And it was a really good move because she was willing to come in and give everything a fresh set of eyes and the things that she's really strong in that I am not. And it really filled in some of those holes to replenish that corner that was missing.
Okay, so with Ambrosia now, did it make you nervous wanting to talk to Josette? Because obviously you guys had never met, right, before this? Or did you meet when you got your hair done?
We'd never met, and it was a very just like authentic, organic process. I mean, I met her at this dinner get together, and my objective was just to talk shop with someone else who's local that I know is reputable, and I know that she has a salon, and I know that she was going through some pivotal moments within the salon, and I never was seeking to join forces with her. It wasn't one of those things where we were, interviewing one another. It was more just having a real talk about what's going on and where our struggles are and where we're headed next and what we want to do. And as we started, just sharing ideas, sharing stories, we realized that we both could really help one another out, because I was never seeking to open my own salon necessarily, because I knew I knew what was involved with it. I knew what kind of dedication I'd have to give it. And I wasn't ready to give birth to twins and take care of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by Josette having that foundation set, and with my vision and having a background in like business and marketing and a fascination with branding and just really kind of going down that road, we were able to kind of put our heads together and come up with a new business model, create a whole new structure, change the format of, how things were run underneath the roof. And then, we made a shift in the name so that it had a little bit more purpose and passion behind it, because the name, she wasn't particularly attached to it, although it had been that name for a long time. And we wanted to still incorporate the name within the new name, but the new name to us was kind of like a rebirthing process. And it was really symbolic of where we're headed, what we're about, what our mission is, where our drive is, and who we want to invite in. And that to me is really important for, your goals to align with who you invite in and what you have to share together.
How many years of experience did you have in the hair industry before you went to O Salon?
Well, I'd been at Magnum Opus for 14 years, I believe, or 15. I lost track. I don't even know. But I had only been with Magnum Opus. So it was kind of one of those things where I struggled in the beginning. I didn't even know if I wanted to be in the hair industry. I had planned on going back to school for my business degree, actually. And in that process, I didn't really take it seriously enough. But then when I finally kind of hit this monumental moment, where you really, when the rubber meets the road, and then you're going and you just can't stop. You have this other force that's pulling you instead of pushing you. Then I really started making a different relationship within, my responsibility as a hairstylist. And so then that's when my role started changing slightly. And I went from being, earning six figures to breaking records, to setting records. And then at that point, I really was driven by education. I mean, that's really what kept me going in it. And so I was the lead educator in the apprenticeship program for the last couple of years at Magnum Opus. And I had bigger dreams. I just wanted to be able to open the doors to whoever. I didn't want to be exclusive. or inclusive, I should say. I wanted to be one of those things that was open to anybody.
Yeah.
And that's the way it needs to be. And Josette and I saw very clearly that she and I, we both don't, it's, we want to evolve. And by evolving, that means you have to pass your knowledge on to other people, and they need to start taking ownership of that, so that we can continue to wear other hats and grow and develop. So we really, really wanted to change the mindset of how others have fostered this like educational, like they wanted to tug onto it and be like, this is my anchoring piece, and this is what I can contribute, and this is the me thing. And we see it the complete opposite. Like, as soon as you pass that on to someone else, it relieves you of being able to move on to the next thing and find out, it's like you're the seeker now, and then you get to pass that knowledge on to other people.
And then Josette, so since Ambrosia was pretty like an educator for Magnum Opus, did you had an apprenticeship program at O Salon? I remember that because I had job shadowed you a long time ago. I know you don't remember, which is totally fine. It was before I actually graduated from college at Northwest College of Hair Design. So is the setup of your training a lot different now that Ambrosia is a part of the team?
No, I mean, no, because we both we teach every other week, and before that I taught every week and loved every minute of it. The difference is that Ambrosia and I really do want to incorporate more of our staff doing training. And we've done a little bit of that, but we really, our goal was to transition into doing more of that. And we can talk maybe a little bit about that when we get into the COVID stuff. But no, I mean, the training program, and the reason why there aren't very many apprenticeship programs in Portland, or probably around the country for that matter, is that Ambrosia and I don't get paid for that. It's all time that we give back to our staff and our industry. Like, and that's hard for a lot of owners to dedicate the amount of time and energy that it takes, and you're paying those people to be learning, so it's an expense. So an apprentice program, but no, it really looks pretty similar. The difference is Ambrosia brought in a lot more social media education, and she does her French cutting, and so our staff is really lucky because they get to learn her techniques that she was trained in, as well as the things I have been trained in, and some of the other things that, techniques that are also, done by other artists in our industry. So we have a really well-rounded crew, but as far as the structure, not really. It's every Tuesday. It's been every Tuesday for, 20 plus years. I do have to say, though, one thing that was different before Ambrosia came on, we do a thing where starting about, I think, 7 years ago, we have the new talent, or the apprentices, take clients on Sundays by themselves. So they have a day where they don't have someone over their shoulder, and they're kind of watched by their peers, but not necessarily by us, like the day that they take models.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
When they take models, we're right there watching every step and really coaching them. And the only way you can see if their bad habits are if you're right there, when I was an apprentice, I didn't like the fact that the person would just come out and check my work when I got done. So we really are hands-on, watching every move and helping them. And they say that they really appreciate that. So Sundays are a good day for them to kind of launch and use those new things they're learning, and without the pressure of their boss watching them.
So Ambrosia, because I've noticed that you are now also a business coach. Do you incorporate that in your teachings for the apprenticeship program, or is that a totally separate thing?
To some degree. I mean, obviously, since I'm working with hairstylists and they are working underneath our, the same space, we're working primarily on their technical abilities, their communication skills, which is even more important than their technical abilities, and just a little bit of understanding of their personal, just self-marketing.
Okay.
But when it comes to the business side of things, because the structure of the salon is commission driven, that's our job as as an owner, right? That's our job as being like their leader, their mentor, is understanding those pieces. That's not really something that they need to understand necessarily. Although we are a blended salon, so we do have booth rental stylists who have actually learned a lot from our own guidance, and we do share those types of things. What's really important to understand, but the type of coursework that I do, or the one-on-one type work, is really related to running and understanding your own business as an individual behind the chair, and what you can do to maximize your efficiency.
How now, with you guys becoming a partnership, is it pretty apparent for your staff and for the stylist who where to go to? Like, who's the person to go to? Or this is Ambrosia's role and this is Josette's role?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, obviously for anything, you have an order of operations, and there's some areas where if somebody comes to me and just says, has a question about maybe their schedule, or they have a question about payroll, then they know that that's not something that we go over. We do have reviews where we sit down and we look at numbers, and we look at the heart, just like the four foundations of what it takes to like grow. But yes, we definitely have different roles as far as who to turn to navigating around that. Yeah.
And then Josette, how often do you guys meet up together for the partnership to do check-ins? And then how often do you guys meet up with the team at your salon?
Well, we have monthly staff meetings. That's been a very important thing. It's kind of like eating dinner together as a family. I mean, you have to have check-in times, and like Ambrosia said, the one-on-ones are separate. But as a whole group, we meet every month. It was Thursdays for 20 plus years, and now it's Fridays. But the meetings are very fun. They're positive. Sometimes we get housekeeping out of the way and just check in with the group. And they've been a really vital part of like knowing policies and like classes, and also just celebrating. Like, we usually, not every meeting, but we try to like do a Q&A. What's your favorite technique that you're super excited about right now? Or we'll have people put together, like 2 people at a time will do all the reds that are in for fall, and they'll do a little poster. But we try to keep it fun. And Ambrosia was used to that as well, being at Magnum Opus, because they did it at Magnum Opus. It was a little more, maybe not as lovely, but sometimes, but I think they're growing as well, I hope, as a business. And we kind of took what we liked about the staff meetings and made what we maybe didn't care for and make that more private in the one-on-ones. So yeah, that's our interaction with the staff.
Now, how often do you guys meet together?
Not as often as we should, but when we do kind of have these power meetings where the thing about Ambrosia and I are something we have in common. We both are very fast thinking and fast talking, and sometimes like very intense, but for some reason together, when it's just her and I, and we really get into that mode, it works really good because we're both very much like that. So it's like a great thing with a partner to have that. And Ambrosia and I are pretty honest with each other. And so sometimes that can be like gritty, like if it was your sister, but I think that's important, because we decided that in the very beginning of our business relationship, that as long as we were honest, even if it was ugly, it would work good. And we do our one-on-ones. Ambrosia is really good about saying, hey, we haven't met for a month. Let's get together. Yeah. And like I said,
that's why you're great you're great at social media, Ambrosia, checking in with everybody.
Yeah, she's really good at that. So she's better about like really noticing, but at the same time, we talk every day. It isn't the same. Having that meeting time is not the same. But 5-minute management when you're in a busy big salon is a real thing, and that's our daily lives. Like people coming to her, people coming to me, us talking for 5 minutes and changing the world. It's like 5-minute management is really a real thing in a busy salon. So,
and then, so how often are you behind the chair?
Me? Mm-hmm. I work 4 days a week behind the chair, and I was doing every other Tuesday for class. And for right now, we're just committing to Tuesdays for being back from COVID. So I'll probably go back to that. So I guess 3.5
Okay.
days a week.
And then
Yeah.
how often are you behind the chair, Ambrosia?
Kind of the same, 3.5. I'm Wednesday through Saturday. I have 2 Saturdays that I take off, so I've got 2 cushion Saturdays that I still take clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you got hired or when you became a partner, when did the salon name change? And I looked up the definition for Auric. So, and
It's
I know
pronounced Auric, actually.
Auric. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry,
The
Auric.
aura
Okay.
that surrounds a creature. Yes.
Yes. So part of that, what I did, and it says the definition is the aura surrounding a living creature. And
Yeah.
it's also related to gold. So can you
Yes.
tell me again how you came up with that name?
It's interesting because the Olympics were happening around that time, and I saw a commercial, and it was talking about how there's elements in your body, and there's one of the elements that's found is actually gold, and the most amount of gold that's found is around the human heart. And I was wondering, I wonder why, if that has to do with like a heart of gold. And more into it when I first joined the partnership, when I first like bought into the salon, Josette and I, we we were going through all series of changes, but Josette was going through a personal hardship. Her mother was really ill, and I knew that her favorite shape was a heart, and I got her a little gold locket, or was it? I don't know if it was a locket. It was just a gold pendant, and it was a heart. And she just said, I love the heart, and it's interesting because when if you're pregnant, then all you see are pregnant people, and if you get a Prius, all you see
Yeah.
are Prius,
Yeah.
it's
No,
like,
it is.
so
Yeah.
so Josette and I, we went on our first business trip together, and we just kept seeing hearts everywhere. We brought back this big heart structure from Santa Barbara that she fell in love with and just had to have, and now it's like got a spotlight on it, and you see it right when you walk in the house, and it's like the heart of the home. And so that meant something. And when I heard this whole thing about the heart of gold, and Auric was another form of gold, I just thought, gosh, it just feels like it fits so well. And how ironic is it that O is still incorporated in it, because O in the elements, O is actually gold. So we were able to kind of almost kind of build on the original name, which was O, and it had a little bit more of a symbolic meaning behind what we want people to feel inside, that heart of gold, and what we want people to feel outside, which is like your outer aura. And there it came, Auric.
And then, and I remember I asked the question before, do you guys have a solid mission statement?
Yeah, we do. We have kind of changed it throughout the years. And the last meeting we had together, we were talking about possibly shifting that a little bit. But really, like, if we brought it down in its simplest form, I guess if we were just to have like more of a logo, so to speak, it's to be beautiful. We just want everyone to feel beautiful when they walk out of the salon. And it's not just about the hair. We want people to feel beautiful. And and that's what we do when we are hiring other people. That's why we hire as a group. It's just very much about the feeling, and we want everyone to feel, because we're a family, and we want everyone to feel like they belong together, and that there's no tension, and there's everyone's helping each other out in different ways.
So when COVID first hit, I did, we all shut down, everything like that. And for a while I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be as busy. I think people are going to be really scared to get their hair done. Now I'm so slammed that I'm almost all booked out in July. Like, it's just insane. But I do schedule my times a lot longer in between. Make sure that I sanitize my whole room because I have that small studio in 77. So Josette, a question for you first is, what have you guys done during this time of COVID, and how has your salon life changed?
Well, I mean, being business owners, we were still able to go into our space. And so we spent some time going in, and, the doors are closed. We put stuff over the windows just to keep it safe. And this was like kind of recent climate in the, in the world, but like just to make sure like people weren't looking in and knowing that we weren't open.
Yeah.
We cleaned, we painted, we organized. We knew that there was going to be mandates with like structural changes within the salon, and so we kind of put those off to the side because we knew we'd come back to those probably a few weeks before we opened, which we did. Ambrosia and I got, the lines that we carry, we're contractually not allowed to like sell them on our website, but the Orbe, Bumble, and Kerastase were really supportive. They gave our salon commission for sales through their website. And then we started doing curbside pickup for clients to pick up products on Fridays and at 20% off. And we got to see the client for like a moment to hand them a bag, which was really cool. And then we also started doing, just again, based on, clients reaching out and their hair getting, ridiculous, saying, I'm going to go buy box colors. So we came up with, kind of our own idea, and then also saw that other leaders in the industry were doing something similar. And we put together these mini versions of a client's formula in the salon into a small package with a kit with video directions and written directions. And again, either mailed it to the clients or they came and picked them up as well on Fridays. And it generated enough revenue that we were able to pay our staff's medical insurance. And that was really important to us. So, and it was also good to be busy, and make a color order in the middle of all of this. Like, it felt like we were still open to place an order, to a vendor, which was a really good feeling. It sounds crazy, but in the middle of all of this, to pay your electric bill feels normal, you want to have some sense of that when we didn't even know when we were going to open. I mean, so those are the things we did, and then made the mad rush the last couple weeks to get the right amount of sanitizers and the right spacing, and moving and measuring and moving and hanging dividers, and making the staff a little bit less hours so that everybody can feel comfortable coming back and not have, because our salon's pretty busy, it's full, and so we made it a little more roomy feeling, which has been really good.
And then, Ambrosia, the last time that we spoke, you guys were considering probably doing the plexiglass. Was that right? The dividers between, did you guys do that?
Yeah, we did. I mean, in some spaces that we couldn't give that 6-foot distance, we did do, especially at our shampoo bowls.
Oh, okay.
Plexiglass between each shampoo bowl. We have plexiglass between some of the stations where they're not distance enough, which it's kind of cool looking. It's nice, and they're hanging.
It looks professional. Yeah,
it looks. Do, and I mean, it's kind of neat. I mean, it's clean looking, and it's still inviting. It's easy to clean, and it makes people feel like they have their own sense of privacy in it, and it doesn't feel claustrophobic. So yeah, I'm really happy with the look of it and how it turned out.
And so I was looking at your guys' website. As of right now, you guys are not doing blow dries. Is that right?
Right. For phase 1, we just decided to eliminate it. I mean,
when
it comes to business, the hard line is that you either have to increase your prices,
right,
or you have to take something out of your service in order to compensate for that cleanup time and shortening your hours or your clientele that you can see in a day. So in order to accommodate the clients that we already have, we knew that, and for the safety of others, I mean, just having all that air blowing around, and with the amount of operators there are in that space, all blow dryers going at one time, and just considering that you feel like you're in the Amazon jungle when you've got that mask on anyway, adding that blow dryer on top of it, it just was an easy no-brainer just to say, you know what, phase 1, we're taking it out, and we'll reevaluate phase 2.
Oh, there you go. And then you guys so it sounds like you guys are still doing the apprenticeship, the classes, right, on Tuesdays?
Yeah, we're just taking it out for 1 month to get into the groove of things, but then we will reinstigate it. And Josette and I just alternate every other Tuesday. She teaches one, I teach the other. And then our apprenticeship, I mean, we focus on very different things. And we have a board where we, show everyone. We have a calendar in the break room so that everyone knows when they need to have models, how many models, what time they need to put their models in. Yeah.
Which actually, if I would say, if one of your apprentices said, I don't have so many models, I had to go to Lloyd Center. Because there were no iPhones, there was no Instagram, and I actually had to go up to strangers and say, hey, It's like it's so much easier now with the whole social media to get models. So but I would say, yeah, students, if you guys are considering going to an apprenticeship program, it is not very scary right now to find models. So just FYI. Okay, so now that it sounds like you guys are pretty structured with COVID. Now with what's going on, like the political climate and the protesting, how did you guys discuss Black Lives Matter, and are you applying it to your business, or are you guys doing anything to help the movement?
Yep. Yeah. Well, first we had a conversation about it. Actually, during all of COVID, we had a weekly meeting. We had a Zoom meeting with our staff every single week to check in with each other, see how everyone's doing, if anyone had any complications with filing their unemployment, if anybody had any questions for us, any updates that we wanted to give them. We just had that meeting to talk, and it was just nice for us to see each other too. I mean, just
Yeah.
catch up with what's going on in each other's lives and all that. But with the Black Lives Matter, we decided as a group, okay, let's definitely post about this. Let's support local artists also, and let's kind of bridge the two, so that way we're able to support our own community, our own Black community, and we're able to still keep it within our community as well, so it feels relevant as a business and as a unit. And so we did some research. We found a couple of different local organizations, and one of them was the Black Resilience Fund, which actually it gives back to Black families who are unable to pay their bills, unable to, or need help with groceries, that sort of thing. So it's giving back to the homes of people in our own community, which was really important to us. So we decided that all of our retail sales for, it was over a month. It ended up being, what was 7 or 8 weeks actually, the funds will be going to Black Resilience Fund. So
that's
through the
great.
end of June, through the end of June. So we still have a few more days left.
So I actually am going to have later in July, I am going to have, her name is Unique. She just opened a salon in Alberta. She had done her beauty school training over, and I believe it's North Carolina. So I asked her, it's like, did you only have straight haired mannequins in beauty school? And she said no. And what my question is because here I went to Northwest College and that's all we had. We never learned curly hair or highly textured curly hair. Will you guys be implementing that type of teaching at all? Like how to cut just highly textured curly hair?
Yeah, something we've already been doing. Josette
that's great.
especially.
We have clients, we have Black clients, we have clients with really curly hair. It's part of our program to teach curly hair. We do have some mannequin heads that have incredibly textured curly hair. One of the, just even how to comb through it and smooth it out is one of the things that we do work on, and it is challenging. I wouldn't say that we would ever, well, not ever, that's probably not fair, but like currently I wouldn't say that we're experts in Black hair, but we do have enough clients that they love our service and we're really good at it. But that just comes down to how many times a week do you do a particular type of service. But when we engage in things, we put it, all of our training and all of our ideas and mastery into those things. So, and we love that, clients come no matter who or color or whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome, and we never have ever had an issue with that. Thankfully.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What now are you guys fully booked as in staff right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Okay. And is there room later on, do you think, this year to hire apprentices?
Yeah, I mean, we always reevaluate it about every 6 months. Obviously through the apprenticeship, the whole purpose is so that they could be full-time independent stylists, right? So, we incorporate, how we were talking before, they have their Sunday. Once they hit their indicators for Sunday, then they earn another day, so on and so forth. And so they slowly earn their way onto the floor. And as that happens, we bring on another apprentice. So we go through the whole hiring process, bring on another apprentice. And then the senior apprentice basically is training or helping us with training starting the junior apprentice, and then they will start in the program. So yeah, that's absolutely something that we have ongoing.
Okay, so I have a couple more questions for you guys. And what do you guys see for the future of your salon? Like, what's your goal for the future of the salon?
Well, we have a lot of goals, but if we just go to the immediate future, like next year, for instance, it's really just to get back to where we were before. I mean, we hitting 7 figures as a business, being able to build up our bottom line, provide more education for our stylists. We love bringing in quarterly education for everyone. Obviously, right now, just because we're still coming back from COVID, and it's very sensitive, we don't have any setup for the rest of this calendar date, but we will reevaluate it again. So that's something that's really important to us. There's ideas that we've kind of thrown out a little bit, where possibly if the right, we're not really seeking it right now, but if the right opportunity were to present itself, we wouldn't be opposed to having maybe a second or sister salon, a second location where we can still kind of expand in other ways or have a different feel to it. And I think even, personally, Josette, do you want to talk about that?
I mean, I think the goals for the salon are to make everyone feel like they're growing, even in the midst of all this recent COVID and changes with schedules and clients feeling, comfortable. That's top priority. But again, yeah, Ambrosia and I, we really love the idea of making more of us, meaning more spaces available, and we have a hybrid salon, which is pretty cool. There's not a lot of hybrid salons, and it's been extremely successful. And we have really, really great independent contractors that come to our meetings, and they're part of our group, and we make them feel exactly that. Well, we strive to make them feel the same. And who knows if that could work. But also just feeling, we want our employees to feel safe that we're going to be around. We have several years left on our lease, and we have no intentions of going anywhere. But yeah, I mean, those are the goals. Definitely changed with since like the end of February, like in the sense of more immediate things. But long term, yeah, I mean, Ambrosia, she's a fireball. She's always got like lots of stuff going on, and I love hearing her stories of her coaching business. And I'm in a different place, like personally, just because I'm older, and I love doing what I'm doing in the salon, and then I still do a lot of things at home, but like my goals are to maybe eventually like have a little bit less to do business wise, but still be involved in the salon, of course, because I don't know, maybe till the day I die that'll probably happen.
Which actually, that's funny, because that was going to be my last question, is what if you guys have thought about an exit plan and what that would look like. Ambrosia, I don't think you're going to be exiting anytime soon. It sounds like you're going to be busy for a while. So have you thought about an exit plan of what you would like? I know it's going to change, but have you thought about that at all?
Oh, definitely. I mean, mine is more like a 10-year exit plan, and I already have that figured out. And, I think if you pay attention to like where your numbers are and like where you're projecting, I mean, if you kind of pay attention to those things, then you can figure out where you need to be. I mean, it's like any goal, you work backwards from there. And, like when I mentioned before, on a personal level, I want to be a better leader to everyone. And by being that, you can't wear all the hats. So I've done hair for so many years, and I love doing hair. I love being around people. I love being, problem solver. And that's really what it is when you're a hairstylist. When you're a really good hairstylist, you're just solving problems, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm tied up behind the chair, then that doesn't really exactly make me like the best leader. So by having that paradigm shift where I'm not so congested behind the chair. I mean, I used to triple, quadruple book, which is an old business model, and it really doesn't function the purposes of being able to support others. So by taking a step back and not doing so much congestion behind the chair, then that allows me to focus on other people, their growth, and what we can do to build them up. So my goal is to replace myself. I
That's
mean,
really
that's
cool.
really the ultimate goal. You got to replace yourself so that
Yeah.
you can dip out and you have a retirement at the end of all this.
Yeah. Okay, so last question, and this is I'll ask Josette first, or actually it's two-part question. What do you have to like what's some pearls of wisdom for people considering going into beauty school or people in beauty school? And what's your pearls of wisdom forming a partnership?
I think if you're going to go to beauty school, I think try not to get kind of hung up on which school. It should work for you in that moment. So if it's a financial thing or a location thing or an hours of operation for the school, go to school, get your degree or get your license, and then really strive for continuing education. But I do have to say one thing with that is that the newer beauty school or the newer cosmetologist, what I've seen in apprenticeship as far as advice for a new person in school is that what we're learning is that interpretation, like, so these young students like have their Instagram and they have all these videos to watch, and now they're super amazing because they can do their foilage on a mannequin and they're set to go. But really, in an apprenticeship, your leader, your teacher, your mentor, whether it's like Ambrosia and I or another stylist, they're going to watch you and see if you actually interpreted what you watched in that video. So it's changing a little bit to where we're constantly inundated with all this training and educational videos and classes, but what's the interpretation of that look like?
Yeah.
So my advice to someone in school is to just please do as much hands-on training as you can, because you have all this access to videos, but you really, hopefully you can have someone coach you, whether it's an apprenticeship or someone that's willing to just even video yourself and send it to them and have some sort of interaction where you're seeing if you're interpreting these techniques correctly. And then, I'm sorry, what was the second question?
Partnership. Considering partnership.
Oh, partnership. I think partnerships are good. It's like what Ambrosia was saying earlier, just there's a lot of hats to wear in a business, and there's the how person and the why person, and you need to respect each other. But I think partnerships are good because if I had to do this all by myself, I would look like I was 100 years old and I would probably cry every day. But I don't. And so having a partnership can be a real blessing, but you have to be able to communicate. And again, like sometimes that's not easy communicating. And sometimes you don't see eye to eye, but again, it's like a family. So if you think of a partnership like a marriage or your sibling, there's going to be moments where it feels like it isn't cohesive, and then you work through it. But I would advise partnerships because of the amount of responsibilities that it takes to really run a successful business. Or you better get lot of money to hire 4 people and have a lot of capital. So you either do a partnership or you bring a lot of money to the table and actually pay people to do those jobs that are super important. The difference is partnership usually has passion, meaning behind that job role. So you're going to get a little bit more commitment. But that doesn't mean you can't hire a really good worker.
Right.
It's just a little bit. But that would be my advice.
And then how about you, Ambrosia? What's some pearls of wisdom for students or people considering beauty school, and then people considering, like myself, doing a partnership?
To answer your first question, for beauty school students, I think it's important to keep in mind that you don't have to graduate in order to get your interviews started. So seek as many salons as possible. Understand that you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. And don't get caught up in the aesthetics of things. See how people are treating one another. See how you feel when you walk in. How are they treating you when you walk in? And then the second piece of that is when you're looking for a mentor, if you align with somebody and they are interested in communicating back with you, or invite them to coffee or ask them if they can take a second to talk with you. We're all human.
Yeah.
No matter what, you have to keep that in mind, that even if you look up to that person, if you approach them and they're human back to you, then you've already started on the right footing. Okay, now I can I can ask this person for advice, and they don't have to necessarily be your mentor in order to give sound advice. I mean, there have been many times where somebody would approach me and they're nervous to talk. And
Yeah.
but for me, just to be human enough and just to say, like, I was really, really nervous when I first started out, and I was unsure if I even wanted to be in this industry. And for them to hear that, it gives permission to be like, oh, got it. We're now human again. Let's be human and talk to one another. So just know that there's so many resources outside of your own school that you can turn to, and there's people that want to talk with you, there's people that want to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
And just because they've been in the industry for this amount of time, just because they have this many followers on Instagram, just because whatever it is that makes you feel like there's a roadblock in there, try to look at it as they started somewhere and they're driven enough to keep going, and that means that they're probably more open to talking with you and wanting to, and they could become your new friend. Like,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that just, like, don't take the human qualities out of the business, and stick with people who fit you. And that actually kind of answers the second part of the question.
Right.
You can't have a partnership with somebody unless you are aligned goal wise.
Yep.
And if you guys can set the same thing moving forward. It's the same thing with a partnership with a company. I mean, why would you want to represent this company if you're not using their tools and you're not really an advocate of it? Why would you want to form a partnership with somebody if you can't, see eye to eye with things? And so there's a huge accountability piece that goes into partnerships, and that's why partnership is important for me. I've had partnerships outside of the salon even. It's a way of being able to cover all your bases, see things that you can't see, and it keeps you flexible and it keeps you growing. So if I know everything all the time, then I've completely shut out the idea that I can continue to grow, and I'll miss things along the way.
That's really cool. So, guys, this is a conversation with Josette Arvidson and Ambrosia Carey, owners of Auric Salon. The salon is a beautiful space with tons of natural lighting located in the Alphabet District off of Northwest 23rd, in between Overton and Northrop. If you guys are interested in learning more, please visit their website at www.auricsalon.com. You can also check out their beautiful work on Instagram at Auric Salon. Well, thank you, ladies, for being a part of the show.
Thank you so much
for having us.
Okay, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, bye.
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 So, guys, there you have it. Two strong, dedicated women, not only to their craft, but to forming and maintaining a strong partnership for their salon and for their team. And I don't know, I think if I found the right person, or if the right person found me, we could definitely make things happen. I do know that I love working behind the chair, so I'd probably be at the salon all the time. And I work better and I enjoy it with having a salon, having a sense of order, kind of a hierarchy. And as for a future owner and just a person in general, I do believe in putting in the work to make myself better and a better leader. Whether that's reading books, going to seminars, talking with others, and I definitely believe in continuing education in the field that I love, which is hair. I also love bringing people together. I did a couple of photo shoots at the salon, and it felt good that the stylists were having a great time. And in episode 4, I talk about being a team player, and that is my jam. Team environment is very important. It creates safety, allows vulnerability, and for people to be honest about their feelings. Now, the downside, which I'm not really sure if it's a negative or a positive, but if I was an owner, I do not believe in being buddies with your staff or stylist. It doesn't mean that I don't like people or I want to have coffee with them. I do want to enjoy conversations, but I do feel when you become really close or too close, or how I call it, buddies, lines get blurred, boundaries get blurred, and people either take you for granted or you take others for granted. And then the work isn't as serious. And honestly, it just becomes messy. But like I said, I don't know if that's a negative or a positive because I don't want to come off as being too cold. I don't want to come off as being disinterested in my stylist. And I don't want to come off as being unapproachable if one of my stylists was in a jam and needed some advice or needed some help. So we'll see. That's just something for me to think about. And if you are a listener who is an owner, doesn't matter if you're a salon owner or not, I would love to hear your advice or feedback with that. So you can either slide into my DM. No, I don't want to date you. No, but you can you go ahead and just send me a message on Instagram. You can also email me at portlandhairstylist@gmail.com. Well, guys, that's it for now. So be safe, be healthy, and above all, be hopeful. This is your Hairapy Session with Emily. I'm your host, Emily Mazur, aka Portland Hairstylist. Show written by Emily Mazur, sponsored by Ziba Hub. Ziba Hub, a career app for beauty professionals where you can find jobs, explore events, and build community. And editing done by 127 Media House.